is like probably one of the funnest cancer fundraisers across the actually world now. I think they're an international organization where every November all the men do their best to try their attempt at growing a mustache. How did you actually get involved with them?
It was from my connections in the cancer world. So, I mean, first of all, Movember is a fantastic organization. They're trying to change the face of men's health. And and at the time, I don't know what the stats are now, Jordan, but they were in about 21 countries and they raised about $140 million globally annually for their campaign. So it was a very large campaign when I was involved back in 2010, 2011. How I got involved was, though, there was a review of Prostate Cancer Canada. So Dr. Colleen Nelson from Australia was in the cancer world, a colleague of mine, and Dr. Howard Sewell, who ran the U.S. prostate cancer group. And I was the Canadian involved in that review. We reviewed Prostate Cancer Canada, wrote the report, handed it into the Movember board. They liked the report a lot, and so they asked me to, after we finished that piece of work, they said, could you stay on and work in Canada to help define a secondary cause beneficiary? So I did an exercise with the community, consulted broadly across the country, and we landed on men's and boys' mental health as one of the other focus areas of investment for the Movember Canada crew. And so that was a way of giving back in terms of that activity. I also got involved in the review of prostate cancer Australia. So they had me come and do, and then that particular exercise, I was the chair of the review committee. So that was very good work. And just a shout out to my friend and really a mentor, Paul Valente, who was the head of their global programs, was really an inspiring figure for me at the time. I think Paul's still with Movember Global, still working for the Movember campaign, but he was a very inspirational guy, and I really enjoyed working with him. So you're absolutely correct, Jordan. They have fun in their mission and vision statement, and they actually mean it. They really want to make sure that they're having a good time and being productive. And every person I met at Movember, they always had a story of a donor or a story of some client they were able to help, and they did a really good job of marketing their stories, and they had a really good web page that really made the campaign very efficient to raise a lot of money. So I still grow. I don't grow every year. I will admit, Jordan, I don't do it every year, but I do grow when I get a chance, and I do contribute always to the campaign.
Super fun. I imagine like a lot of what you actually did in that role and the disbursement of funds is probably very applicable to now having the team at Alberta Health or at Alberta Innovates in terms of like grant funding and dissemination of the money there.
Yeah, the focus was on value for money and impact, right? So that was the purpose of the reviews of Prostate Cancer Canada and Prostate Cancer Australia. So we were very much focused on achieving value for money and letting the organization know, the board know, that that's indeed what they were achieving. So that has stuck with me. Again, impact and evaluation are really key cornerstones of a funder's arsenal as you go forward in terms of investing in different activities. So you want to make sure you're always achieving value for money for the taxpayer dollars that we spend. So having that impact function is a very critical core competency for any fundraising organization.
When you're dealing with, organizations of that magnitude and size and just that volume of fundraising, how do you actually choose what to do with it after? I don't know if you have any insights in terms of the Movember Foundation, but what did they actually send the money out for?
Well, they traditionally had done, they sent the money to others to invest on their behalf. So all Dr. Nelson, Dr. Sewell, and myself were checking were the rigor within which they were overseeing and governing their systems of giving dollars out, how they were taking advice from the research community about where to invest the dollars, and then also ensuring there were no conflicts of interest or anything untoward that was happening with the money. And then the last piece was just making sure that they had a good, robust ability to assess the impact of their award and what it was actually achieving. So it's sort of the full life cycle of a funder investor sort of organization. So that's how you check, and you have all these mechanisms in place that you use to make that happen.
And then fast forward to today, how'd you actually land here in Alberta?
Yeah, well, my wife was recruited to be the chief operating officer of Covenant Healthcare back around 2012. When I had originally moved from the Princess Margaret Hospital to the BC Cancer Agency, where I spent 5 years in Vancouver, she left her job in Toronto for no job. And I said at the time, since I was a consultant when she got the job in Alberta, I said, next time maybe we'll leave for your job. So sure enough, next time came up, and I didn't, and I all I needed was a laptop, an internet connection, a cell phone, and an airport. And Alberta ticks all those boxes for me. So I was able to come, very mobile at the time, and working with Movember Global. Again, they were in 21 countries, so it didn't matter where I was situated because there were always late evening calls, early morning calls. It was all different times. I never used my world clock so much from my Apple phone than I worked from Movember because you were always checking what country they were in and what time it was in that country. But that's why I landed here. So I ended up coming as a consultant for Movember, still working for them, but living in Edmonton.
And then, so now you're running the health division at Alberta Innovates. What does that entail? Like, what do you actually do on a day-to-day basis?
On a day-to-day basis, well, I work with a great Alberta Innovates health team. I have about 22 full-time equivalents I work with here at the Alberta Innovates. I also have Alberta Innovates, as you know, is Alberta's research and innovation engine. We have about 600 full-time equivalents. We serve all economic sectors of the province. We have a pan-Alberta focus, and we're a Crown corporation. So what that means is I work on the executive team. I have responsibility for the health investment portfolio. We also have equivalent focused areas in entrepreneurial ecosystems, in artificial intelligence, machine learning, in clean tech, and also smart agriculture. And I have responsibility for the digital health portfolio. So what that means day to day, lots of meetings, lots of incoming on the inbox. But again, working with some really privileged to work with great colleagues in Alberta, great partners in Alberta, and also great partners across the country. So I get to work with national colleagues, and we've now reached out to work internationally with different groups. So I'm always working in that space.
And then I'm Dr. Jordan Vollrath, and you've been watching Cherry Live, brought to you by Cherry Health. Please like and subscribe to see more clips like this, or check us out at www.cherry.health, Canada's medical network.